My name's Dr. Dale Colford.
Serious, right, Quartermaster?
Jess Fry.
Shelley Kornmesser.
Hello, folks. My name is Chris Fry. For those of you at home, I am a combat engineer in the United States Army Reserve. In a few minutes, you are all going to have a decision to make that might directly affect my life. Now, combat engineer, main mission, oftentimes, in Iraq and Afghanistan is to find IEDs, which are improvised explosive devices. And we have statistics on that. For instance, my platoon has a 75% find rate. Now, if you don't know what that means that 25% of the time, our platoon finds it the hard way, meaning the IED blows up under our vehicle. Now, thankfully, our vehicles and our body armor do a great job in protecting us. Oftentimes, we only are injured as opposed to dead. But injuries are very serious. Oftentimes, as they are blown up underneath the vehicle, the main injuries are to the legs. And as you know, the femoral artery runs through the leg. And it can bleed out rather quickly. Now, I want you to imagine in a few years, when I get called up to Afghanistan, that my convoy is hit with an IED. And there I am. My leg is torn to pieces. It's bleeding out. I'm feeling lightheaded already. I call for my battle buddy, Barker. I'm like, Barker, come help me. He comes running. He's like, Chris, what's going on? I'm like, man, I'm hit. Help me out. He pours Quick Clot in the wound and bandages up. Now, it takes a couple hours to get to Forward Operating Base, and by then, I'm passed out. Now, there's the doctor. He's about to go in and actually repair the artery with surgery. But there's no way for him to save my life unless you give blood. Will you actually give the blood to him that saves my life? That is a real scenario that happens time and again. According to Thompson and Time magazine, wounds that cause hemorrhage are the number one preventable cause of death in combat zones. The number one preventable cause of death. Meaning that you guys can directly affect people's soldiers' lives in a combat zone. There's no substitute for human blood. Not one thing can be synthetically made to help out. Blood must be used within 35 to 42 days. There is no shelf life beyond that. So if we aren't constantly getting blood donations, supplies will run out. It happens. And for one trauma victim, for one person, they could use up to 40 units of blood to save their life. Now, the Armed Services Blood Program, the program that I'm here to advocate, does not just provide to soldiers. For instance, they provide to families as well. And it takes 8 units of platelets to keep a leukemia patient alive while undergoing treatment. And 1 pint of blood, 1 pint, can extend a baby's life, a premature baby's life, for 2 weeks. The Armed Services Blood Program does all of this. They provide blood to 1.3 million service members' families and the service members themselves. And since 1952, they provided 1.5 million units of blood and blood products to combat battlefield illnesses and casualties, directly saving lives. With one donation, you could save 3 lives, or you could be the one who extends that premature baby's life. So what happens if you're the baby? In other words, what happens if you don't like needles? As is the number one reason for not wanting to give blood. Afraid of needles. Well, right here is a syringe. Now granted, this needle is a tad bit smaller than the one they're going to put in you to take out blood, but still, it's just going to be a little pinch. This here is a 7.62 by 39 shell, one commonly used in AK-47 assault rifle, one commonly used against our troops in Iraq and Afghanistan. This bullet goes through them at 2,400 feet per second. People who need this blood are willing to face this bullet for your freedom. And what you can do to help them out is take one little pinch. For less than an hour of your time, you can save someone from something far more permanent, death. According to an article written by Sergeant Ondick for the Combat Joint Task Force website, soldiers in Iraq actively give blood in between missions because they know it saves their buddy's life. So on your weekend, can you ride over to one of the bases and give blood yourself to help them out? So how do we do it? There are 17 locations in the continental United States where you can give blood to the Armed Services Blood Program. The closest one to us in this room right here is Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. Right, now for those of you online, there are 2 locations in Washington, D.C. And I recommend get on the website www.militaryblood.dod.mil and click on the blood donor centers to find a donor center near you. Blood is needed every day by our service members. Every day it gets used to save people's lives. The Armed Services Blood Program relies solely on the donations of service members and the people who are willing to drive to the bases to give blood. Now, if you go to a base, you're going to need to have your license, just so you know. But please keep in mind that in the end, it might be my life you save by making that gift of life. Give blood to your donation center. Thank you very much.